Fernande, what more can you tell us about the verdicts today?
So this verdict, long awaited and quite surprising in that one of them was acquitted. Also, the only suspect, Oleg Puletov, who had legal representation. All four of them were tried in absentia, and he was the only one that had lawyers here present. Now, he was acquitted because the court found there was no proof that he made any individual contribution to the use of that Buk missile. Although he was aware of it being used, his superior Dubinsky had ordered the use of it, and he'd had no power to stop Kharchenko deploying it. Now, the other three, Girkin, Dubinsky, and Kharchenko, were found guilty of unlawfully downing a plane, as well as the perpetration of 298 murders because, tragically, all people on board died. The judge also mentioned aggravating circumstances, why there was no other option than sentencing them to the highest possible sentence here in the Netherlands, which is life imprisonment. And that's what they tried to cover it up. They sent that missile back to Russia as soon as they realized that they did not down a military plane, but a passenger jet. They didn't turn up here in court today, nor before. They've denied their involvement repeatedly. They've also spread disinformation about the case, which the judges said was particularly disrespectful towards the relatives of the victims. So a life sentence for three of the defendants here in court today.
And speaking of the relatives of those victims, Fernande, we know that many of them had wanted the Russian government to be implicated in this verdict that was read out by the judges today. So are they likely to be satisfied with the judges' conclusions?
Well, of course, they were hoping for a guilty verdict for everyone. But yes, the role of Russia was particularly important for them. They wanted this court, an impartial body, to rule on that. Now, the judge started this hearing by very conclusively dismissing alternative scenarios which had been brought forward by the defense, saying that, for example, a Ukrainian fighter jet would have shot down. They said it was overwhelming evidence that it was a Buk-Tele missile, and also that that missile came from Russia. And that's particularly relevant because for international law, if a government, the army of a country deployed a weapon, that also means that the government is involved. The judges spoke about the role of Moscow in the fight for eastern Ukraine, that they had control of that area of eastern Ukraine where this plane was shot down as early as May 2014. Now, although Russia was not directly implicated here today because it was a criminal proceeding against four individuals, this ruling can be used in future cases at, for example, the European Court of Human Rights, where there is a case against Russia by the Netherlands, as well as possible future cases at the International Court of Justice here in The Hague. So that is something that relatives were hoping for today, and I think they've been vindicated on all counts by the judges here today.
Fernande van Tets at the courthouse, thanks very much indeed.